Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. Our show, Eye on the Valley, is brought to you by SCVi and iLead Schools. We're a network of charter schools with campuses in Castaic, Agua Dulce, Lancaster. We've also got a fully accredited online school and a burgeoning homeschool program, iLead Exploration. I've actually been doing some work, quite a bit of work this week with iLead Exploration. They've got an amazing homeschool program. If you're interested in that program, check us out at ileadschools.org. At ileadschools.org, you can get information actually about all of our schools there, whether it's homeschool or online or our classroom-based charter schools. Like I said, check us out there at ileadschools.org. So we've got our eye on education here in Santa Clarita and across the nation. But like our show says, we keep our eye on the valley as well, bringing you everything that you need to know about what's what here in the valley, and we try to do it while putting a smile on your face, easing you into the weekend like we should. You know, love doing a Friday morning show. It just really gives us the opportunity to open up that weekend and just cruise on into it together. So, I missed you all last week. Did you miss me? Yeah, I was on I was somewhere last week. But I'm back this week, and we've got a great show. Got a great show for you today. On this week's show, we've got some of the fantastic learners from iLead Agua Dulce. If you remember, these amazing young ladies joined me just 2 weeks ago as they were preparing for their own broadcast. And, well, this week, they're going live. That's right. In just a couple of minutes, I'm actually going to be relinquishing the wheel here. I'm going to be turning the show over to them. And they'll share with you some of the stuff that they've been learning at iLead Agua Dulce. You're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be exciting, fun, and it's going to be extremely informative. As a matter of fact, I'm suspecting that these young learners from iLead Agua Dulce are going to remind you of some things that you need to know, and also probably teach you a couple of things that you didn't know that you need to be prepared for. And in hour number 2, we're going to be joined by Chris Flowers from the Maine. Chris will be here to share about some of the amazing live acts that are playing here in town. And yes, he was actually on vacation with me, but, Big T, he got stuck. So we are going to be playing trivia a little bit later on today, but not with Big T. Big T's sending in a reliever today. So we'll have some fun and games at the end of the show with Big T's protege. So go ahead and pour that second cup of coffee. Go ahead and mix it up. Kick your feet up. It's Friday. It's okay to be late to work today. And if you're heading into work, just make sure you tune us in on that car radio as you go. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, my first guests this morning, well, they're not guests at all. They're actually, I'm going to take a powder here if taking the week off last week wasn't enough, and they're going to run the first half of the show. They are the 4th graders in Mrs. Julia Sprout's class right up the road here at iLead Agua Dulce. And yes, I say right up the road. It is the truth. You know, growing up here in Santa Clarita, I always thought of Agua Dulce as so far away. But I live in Saugus, and they're just up the canyon from me in Saugus, and we're broadcasting here from downtown Newhall, and they're just a couple of freeway off-ramps up the 14 here. Really convenient, no matter where you're coming or going from. Right here in the valley, as they're in our backyard, and I know a lot of your classmates that attend iLead Agua Dulce, their parents actually live up in the Lancaster Palmdale area, and they're the school is just on their parents' way to work, so it's convenient for everybody. But these young ladies are here to present from their latest project in Mrs. Sprout's class. At iLead Agua Dulce and all of our iLead schools, we use a curriculum called project-based learning. And what project-based learning is it's, well, most of the folks in our audience are adults. And so if you are an adult, you probably remember at some point in your school career thinking, when am I ever going to use this? What am I learning this for? Well, that's what project-based learning prevents, because we take the learning and we package it up in real projects that have meaning in the real world, not 20 years from now, but right now. And we get our learners immersed in real world activities that incorporate their learning into it. And so they will go into a project for maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes as long as 6 weeks, depending. And then they learn everything they need to learn about a topic, and then they present it but not just in the form of an essay or maybe a quick oral presentation. They have a full wraparound presentation of learning where our learners expose what it is that they've been learning, what it is that they've been doing, and we try to make the education authentic that way. And well, what more authentic than actually sharing on the air with a live audience what it is, not just what you learned, but what it is that the radio audience needs to know about, well, in this case, about emergency preparedness. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn things over to our new host, Renada Cano-Linero. Renata, let's talk about this for just a minute. So you all have been studying natural disasters and how to be prepared, is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So you all are sharing about preparedness with our listeners on the radio today. So what did some of your other classmates do? Because your whole class isn't in here going to be on the radio. They did other parts of the same project, right?
Yes.
So what did they do?
Okay, so one is the Flyers group. They're making a flyer for the community. They're also going to be advertising the survival kits, which are survival kits that have food, water pouches, compass, and a ton of other things.
And I understand you're going to talk a little bit more about the survival kits a little later on and how our listeners can actually get their hands on some of those, right? Very cool.
And then one other project is the news. They're making a video, and they're going to post it on the internet as a news.
Oh, very cool. Like a vlog post. That's awesome. So did you learn a lot personally during this project?
Yeah, because it's really interesting to know about what can happen in our community and the natural disasters that happen.
Okay, so let's go ahead and see what you and your friends have learned. Renata is joined by her classmates this morning, Miley, Penny, Piper, and Peyton. So Renata, I'm going to stop. I'm going to step back. You just go ahead and take it away.
Okay, so on this radio broadcast, we will be talking about a few natural disasters. The first one we will be talking about is fires. So first off is Peyton Cacker and Piper Besh. So Peyton, where do fires most happen in California or in this area?
That's easy. Los Angeles, the area of Sacramento, or San Diego.
Yeah, that can be really interesting because anyone who lives in that area can now just be known that that can happen. Okay, so now Piper. What supplies would you need in case of, like, a fire?
Okay, so, mostly this would be for the professional firefighters, who would need their supplies, and they would mostly need oxygen masks, turnout gear, which is the gear and the helmets that they wear, ropes, fire extinguishers, hoses, fire trucks for getting around, and sometimes helicopters and airplanes to drop water, and also lots of water.
Yeah, because that can be really interesting, and, like, I feel like oxygen masks, I don't know where you can get them, but can you get any of these things at, like, any store that, like a supply store or something like
Probably not an oxygen mask, but, like, you could find ropes, and there's normally fire extinguishers at your houses.
Yeah.
And you can't find fire trucks at stores, but... Also, I got some of these notes from my grandpa. He is a retired fire captain, and his name is Jim Moser. And also, in case of a brush fire, you want to make sure you always have your gas in your car to escape, because if you don't have any gas, that wouldn't be good, because then you couldn't get away quickly.
Yeah. That can be really helpful to know because you need supplies, and you can also know what professionals use for supplies.
Yeah, and also it would be good to have like a to-go box or something to have like all your keepsakes and like your like very important things like important mail or insurance policies and things.
Yeah.
And also you would want to have food that stores very well in your car.
Yes.
And have a flashlight in case the power goes out, and a change of clothes. It doesn't have to be like the best, but you would want a little change of clothes. And you would want to grab your pets and food and water for your pets.
Yeah.
And also, to get info on the fire is to be checking a fire or police website in Santa Clarita, which you could check the SantaClaritaEmergency.com website.
Yeah, because sometimes people might not know that exists, and knowing that exists can also help people just know a little bit more about how to stay safe in fires. Okay, so Peyton, how hot is the heat of fire?
That's easy. 600 to 800 Celsius or to 1,112 to 1,800 Fahrenheit.
Okay, so also, how high can a fire get?
About 1 meter.
1 meter, and how has the highest fire ever gotten?
To 63.2 meters.
That's really high because also this isn't something that can help you, but it can also just help you learn a little bit more about safety in fires. Thank you. Anyways, Piper, what are things that can start fires? Because we need to know that if we want to be safe.
Okay, so normally things that can start like a little spark or something. So like in dry weather, maybe it could be like gun shooting because that could start a spark. Maybe lawnmowers, smoking, open fires like at a campsite or something. Barbecues, even though the food that they make is so delicious, they can start fires.
Yes.
Also fireworks and welding in dry, hot places.
Mm-hmm.
And also vehicles in tall, dry grass, driving through that. That could make a spark also and start a little fire. And also dry lightning, where there's no rain and it's just lightning. Mm-hmm. And also faulty wiring. If you notice that you have faulty wiring, it would be best to turn off your power and then wait until it could get replaced.
Yeah, and also I feel like candles could start it, especially if you have kids that just saw the candle and decided to play with it.
Yeah.
That can happen.
My grandpa said that he's actually been in several house fires from kids or animals playing with candles.
Yeah, because animals and kids can be very curious at times.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting that you said dry lightning, because I didn't know that existed before. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is Peyton once again. What would you use if you don't have a phone and there's a fire?
If somebody else has a walkie-talkie, you can also use a walkie-talkie, but you do want to make sure there's batteries for it because there's no way to charge it with the chargeable charger, and probably a radio to see if it's okay to go out or stay in one spot.
Yeah, because that's really good to know, and that's just good to know because you might not have a phone, your phone might die, and you don't have a charger, so that can be really helpful. Okay, so Piper, once again, how can you teach your kids how to be prepared since because I know that there's a lot of parents out there trying to just keep their kids safe, so this might be really helpful.
Okay, so the first thing that you would want to tell them would be to not play with any type of fire, like matches or lighters or anything. Mm-hmm. And also, like, if you are playing outside or something, and you see like a big fire or like a lot of smoke like up in the hills or something, you would want to come home and tell everyone that there's a fire and then make sure everyone knows. And you could also have a family plan and then practice. And in that family plan, you would want to have a location because you would want to have a location to meet because otherwise, if like anyone was trying to go somewhere else, they wouldn't know where to go, and you would want to go to this specific location so everyone knows that you're okay. And then after that, you would evacuate to a different place.
Yeah, because it's good to have a family plan and be prepared because that's the best thing to do if there's ever a fire and just to stay safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so Peyton, last question for you. Where can you go if your house is on fire and you don't know where to go? Where can you go?
If your house does catch on fire, you can go to a store or a park or a police station if there's one close to you. But if you're not at a police station, you have to call 911 right away so they can come help you.
Yeah, either way, you should call 911 immediately if you're ever in a fire or any natural disaster, to be fair. So that's going to be really cool, and that's really helpful to know because sometimes there might not be a store near you. You can go to a friend's or family house. Okay, so Piper, how can you get out of your room if there's a fire?
Okay, so for sure you wouldn't want to just wait around and wait for someone to come rescue you. You would want to escape. And so first you would want to see if you could get out your door, but if your door is blocked, then you would want to get out your other option, which would be your window. So what is there other than the glass, which is a screen? And so to get through the screen, you can punch through it if you're strong enough, but if you can't, then you could find something that's sharp enough to maybe like rip it. And then you would want to go to your location that you would do for your family plan.
Yeah. Also, I know everyone has at least one glass in the room that they can use to rip through it.
Yes.
That's really good. Also, with the question I asked you, how to teach your kids how to be prepared, that's also a really good idea for this question because that also helps with them being prepared and just helping. Another thing I want to add is they can also, like, when there's an emergency, one person in the family plan you can add, when a person calls the 911 and everyone else.
Yeah, everyone else has every person has like their own job to do. Like one get the pets, one get the food, one call 911.
Yeah, because that's really good to know, and also these questions kind of add to each other, so that really helps.
Yeah.
Well, Renata, I know that fire is not the only natural disaster that you guys have prepared for. We've got a couple of more groups outside, so we're going to go ahead and swap out now during the commercial break. I'm hoping one of those groups is going to teach us how to deal with what to do when you're conducting a live radio broadcast and someone wanders by with a leaf blower. You are listening to the 4th grade learners at Ailid Agua Dulce from Mrs. Julia Sprout's class. And today they're discussing what you need to do to be prepared for the different natural disasters that we face here in the Valley. Don't get caught off guard. Stick around. I'm Matt Watson with Renata Cano-Linero.
Yeah.
And we will be right back on SCVi and Ailid School's Eye on the Valley. You're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
No doubt about it. LA is an awesome place to live. But even while living in the land of beaches and mountains, it's safe to say that we could all use a real vacation right about now. One where you don't have to stop for gas, cook your own meals, or strip your own sheets. Lucky for us, Princess Cruises has a port right here in LA. Now, for a limited time, LA residents can sail with Princess from just $89 per day to the beaches of Mexico, the tropics of Hawaii, or cruise along the California coast without getting stuck in traffic. That's right, just $89 per day. And while these great destinations aren't going anywhere, these deals won't be around forever. So visit princess.com, call 1-800-PRINCESS, or contact your travel advisor to book your cruise today. Set sail with LA's cruise line, Princess Cruises. Terms and restrictions apply. Promotional pricing ends November 30th, 2021. Ships are Bermudan and British registry. Before booking, consult the CDC website at www.cdc.gov.
If you have brain fog, headaches, and mood swings, you might have post-concussion syndrome and need to learn the 3 most common mistakes that must change to allow your brain to heal for good. Uses me as best chiropractor and functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpolucky.com. That's drpolucky.com to schedule your free consultation now.
SCVi is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only international baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVi. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit ILEADSantaClarita.org. ILEAD Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Hey, Ned, what's with the cape and tights again? Didn't the boss tell you about that?
No, this time I'm really a Pacific Air hero. I'm flying around keeping our customers cool with our WOW AC tune-up. It's Super Ned to the rescue!
Get in the truck, Ned.
Well, we're not letting Ned run around in tights.
But we are saving people every day.
Mark Schneider and daughter Kaylee for Pacific Air.
We're saving people from a hot, miserable home caused by an aging or broken AC system.
When you call Pacific Air, we know your time is precious. So we promise on-time service to save you time.
And right now, with every WOW AC tune-up, we will disinfect and sanitize the inside of your heating and air system free. We think you'll say,
When you want the best, call Pacific Air.
Schedule your early bird WOW AC tune-up just $57 and we'll sanitize your heating and air system free. No surprises, just exceptional service because nobody cares like Pacific Air. Details at pacair.com.
In these challenging times with virus attacking, I built my immune system with IV therapy at Hestia Medical Spa. I'm KHTS owner Jerry Sreddy Goldman. My husband Carl and I believe Hestia's Medical Spa IV therapy has been a powerful addition for strengthening our immune system. I've been using an IV combination of vitamins and minerals to help me fight off COVID and other viruses.
Boost your energy and immune system with IV therapy at Hestia Med Spa in Valencia. Details at hestiamedicalspa.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station at 98.1 FM and 102.20 AM. This is Renada Canalinero, and you're listening to SCVi and I Lead School's Eye on the Valley. Okay, so first up is Penny. How can you be prepared for an earthquake?
So the first thing you would need is a backpack to put your stuff in. What you would need to put in your backpack is water, a first aid kit, food, a map, and some batteries for a portable radio.
That's really good to know. Where can you find these things?
Like Walmart or any of your local stores.
That can be really good to know. And you, as Piper mentioned earlier, you should buy food that can stay well for long periods of time, like granola bars, water pouches, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is, how long can an earthquake last?
Earthquakes usually last for about 10 to 30 seconds, but they have been known to last up to about 60 seconds.
So around 1 minute.
Yeah.
That's very long. Okay, now, why are earthquakes dangerous?
Earthquakes can be dangerous because they cause the ground to shake, and they can also cause tsunamis.
And I should have mentioned this earlier, but a lot of the times natural disasters start other natural disasters, like right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is, what would you do if you're in a building while there was an earthquake?
If you are inside during an earthquake, stay inside. Stay away from windows and get under a table to protect you from falling objects.
That's really good to know because sometimes parents or kids might not know, still have not done any drills, so that's going to be really helpful just to know. And just to add to that, what can you do if you're outside and there's an earthquake? What can you do?
Well, if you're outside during an earthquake, stay outside, go to an open area where there's no telephone poles and buildings. Once you're in an open area, get down low and stay there until the shaking stops.
Thanks for that. Now Miley's up. Hi Miley, how have you been?
Good, thanks Renada.
You're welcome. So how can you be prepared for a flash flood? I'm going to be asking this to everyone.
The way you prepare for a flash flood is, so for people that live in areas where flash floods occur, we recommend that you always have an evacuation plan. Be prepared, have a list of safe areas you can go to if things get bad. Have a safe route that will be safe to travel. Always look for higher ground if you are near flood zone.
Yeah, because like Piper said earlier, she said always have an evacuation plan, so it's good that you mentioned this once again because evacuation plans are very important. Okay, so how can you tell if flash flood is coming?
Well, Renata, there is a few ways people can tell when a flash flood will happen. First of all, we should always listen to what the news channels are reporting when we are having heavy rain weather. Also, longer periods of rain weather is a good indication that there will be flash flooding everywhere in our area.
Well, that's good to know because if you live in Canada or Alaska that rains a lot, I can imagine there are a lot of flash floods all the time because of the heavy rain. Okay, so what would happen to you if you're in a flash flood?
You can get stuck and you can drown. You can also get stuck in flooding areas. So that's why it's important to have an emergency evacuation plan.
Also, you can also, if you're in a flash flood, you can try to get to anything that is floating that is near you. Just so you can float and try to get out of the water. Okay, last but not least, what does the government do in a flash flood?
The government normally has emergencies crews that will go and search for people that need rescue. They also have shelters and community centers that will offer food and water and a place to sleep if they need it.
Yes, and I hope that they will always be doing this, and I hope that someday we can stay a lot more calmer about any natural disaster.
Well, ladies, I did want to ask you a couple of questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you guys learn a lot about different natural disasters that we have in our area during this project?
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about, well, your friends talked about fires, and then the two of you talked about earthquakes and flash floods. You mentioned areas, I think you mentioned, Renata, like Canada and Alaska that get a lot of precipitation. Yeah. But did you know that we're susceptible to flash floods here in the Santa Clarita, Acton, Agua Dulce area because of how dry it is?
Yeah, and the ground doesn't absorb any of the water, so that means water can just build up and go everywhere.
Renata, I was trying to take the show back from you. You've got to stop being so amazing. I got a text from your principal. You know Mrs. Latimer?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she tells me that I need to watch out because you're going to be stealing my show here soon, and we can't have that. So, of these three natural disasters that we talked about today, fires, flash floods, and earthquakes, which one scares you guys the most?
Fires.
Flash floods and fires. But does it help you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable now that you know what to do?
Yeah, I would say
yeah.
Yeah, having a plan is always a good idea. So they can get scary, but if you know what to do, you don't have to be too scared, right? I think probably the most important thing to do during a natural disaster, because a lot of these come with very little warning. They call them flash floods for a reason, right? Yeah. They come very quickly. Fires can start very quickly, or they can build up slowly. And earthquakes, gosh, those come without a warning.
No.
But if we can stay calm and not panic, that's usually probably our best tool, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what another great tool is in case of a natural disaster here in our area?
What?
Tuning into KHTS.
Sure.
Very shameless plug, but KHTS actually does a wonderful job when we do have natural disasters. You guys remember probably a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic started, we had a series of fires in this area that affected your school.
Yeah.
Were you guys going to Ailida Agua Dulce when those fires came around?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you guys actually had to evacuate your school, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was pretty scary. And one of those fires actually took place on a Friday morning while producer Sarah and I were here doing our show, and we had to kind of cut the content of our show so that we could give the community updates, and that's something that KHTS is really good about doing during those times, about keeping the community updated, letting people know not just what's going on, but what to do about it. Because oftentimes, like for example, when there's an earthquake, somebody's house might become dangerous and you're not able to go back inside and you don't have anywhere to stay.
Yeah.
But our community thankfully sets up emergency shelters where people can go and get supplies, or they can stay safe with their families. And KHTS does a really good job of making sure that that people are able to get the resources that they need in order to take care of themselves. So, what did you guys think about being on the radio this morning?
It was
Really fun.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you guys maybe like to do it again sometime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and now I'm just going to talk about the survival kits a little
Oh,
bit.
that's right. Your emergency preparedness kits.
I'll take it from here. Thanks.
Mrs. Latimer, I tried, but she won't let me. Go ahead.
Okay, so a very cool thing about the survival kits is that my peers have made it by themselves. They have planned everything out. They're in red bags, so it's easy to carry around and a lot easier just to find. And if you have a kid, you can just put the backpack on and carry them, so you don't have to be carrying something big that's very heavy. And it has a lot of things that are very good. And Penny, would you like to say anything about that?
They're very helpful, and you could get them at Eileen's schools.
And Miley?
It's good, so you can carry it around everywhere you go, and it's really good.
Yeah, and like Penny said, you can get them at Eileen Schools. Probably, I believe it's at the office or our room 201. You can. It's really good, and I really like them. They're very good. They have They have food, water pouches, and like I said, a lot more other things. And I just very enjoy it, and I hope that the people who made them enjoyed it and are gonna. And they're around $25, I believe.
Okay.
Each. That's really, to me, that's a very good price for all the things that they put in there, and that's it pretty much.
Absolutely, because you can't put a price on safety.
Yeah.
And you said these come in backpacks,
yes,
so that your hands are free. Yeah. You're able to, I don't know, maybe if you've got little ones, you maybe have to carry the baby, or you've got a rabbit, or gosh, I don't know, maybe you go to a school where you've got pigs and bunnies and chickens that need to be evacuated, and you need your hands free. You guys have animals all over your campus, don't you?
Yeah.
So you said that these emergency kits could be purchased in the office at your school.
Or in room 201.
Or in room 201. Okay. And so perhaps our listeners, if they're interested in picking up one of these kits, they're great to have in the trunk of your car, because you might be in your car when an emergency happens. Or you can keep one in the garage at your house or something like that, so you can pick them up. Check out, look for more information at ailedaguadulce.org. You can get all kinds of information about our school, including our phone number. If you'd like to just give us a call and say, hey, where can I get one of these great emergency preparedness kits that Renada and her friends talk about on the radio?
If you live if you live in Agua Dulce, there will be flyers at Big Mouth or in stores like that saying where you can get the survival kits. And
so you guys are actually putting your flyers in the different stores there in Agua Dulce?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So our community can stay informed.
Yeah.
Agua Dulce is a beautiful community, but they do have trouble with some of these natural disasters pretty frequently.
Yeah.
So it's important that they know what it is that they need to do. Okay. Anything else before we throw it back to commercial, Renata?
No.
All right. Well, ladies, again, I want to thank you for joining us this morning, and thank you for bringing this very valuable information to our community. Living in Southern California is a great place to live, but we do have to keep our eye out for some of these natural disasters sometimes. So make sure that you stay safe, you stay prepared, and swing by Ailida Agua Dulce and pick up an emergency preparedness kit stick one in the trunk of your car. Get one for those that you love for the trunk of their car or their garage as well. I am Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We will be right back on your hometown station, KHTS.
Why did Mercedes-Benz of Valencia win the Dealer of Excellence Award in 2019?
Because we strive to provide the most outstanding sales experience.
Mercedes-Benz of Valencia COO Chris Paz.
We know you have high expectations. Our stellar team will meet and exceed your expectations. That's why we were named Mercedes Best of the Best, placing us in the top 10% of all Mercedes dealers nationwide.
Find out how you can lease a new Mercedes for unbelievably low monthly payments. Details at mbzvalencia.com.
Green Thumb International, your lawn and garden professionals, have the widest variety of shrubs, flowering plants, and gardening supplies in the Santa Clarita Valley. This weekend in your garden, winter is the best time to plant spring bulbs, so you'll be rewarded with beautiful flowers and tasty and nutritious food in the upcoming milder months. Get everything you need for a home and garden at Green Thumb International on Newhall Avenue in Newhall near Sierra Highway. Green Thumb puts the green in your thumb. Find them online at greenthumb.com.
Welcome to Dunkin', where you can always try something new, like the brown sugar oat iced latte, made with oat milk. If you're hungry, try the new omelet bites, bacon and cheddar, or egg white and veggies. Use the Dunkin' app, earn points, and get rewards. Dunkin' has 2 locations in the SCV, Bouquet Canyon with curbside pickup and delivery, or try the Canyon Country drive-thru. Santa Clarita runs on Dunkin'.
This is Carl Goldman. The past 2 years have been challenging for all of us. That's why I want to tell you about the incredible products at MyPillow. Their Giza sheets and mattress covers are spectacular. Now you've got to try their towels. Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, is changing the game with his 6-piece towel set. This set is made with U.S. cotton, making it extremely absorbent. The set comes with 2 bath, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths, typically retailing for $109.99. For a limited time, you can get this set for the low price of $39.99 with promo code KHTS. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener specials to get this insanely low price of $39.99 on the towel set. Enter promo code KHTS or call 800-973-3927. That's 800-973-3927. Use promo code KHTS.
Mental health hookup.
Oh, thank goodness. I don't know where else to turn. Some friends told me that you've been a clinical therapist for over 50 years and helped them out of a crisis.
Whatever mental health services you need, we provide, or we hook you up with someone who can.
Mental Health Hookup is dedicated to providing clinical support for adults dealing with serious mental illness. Speak to Barbara Wilson and her team at Mental Health Hookup today. 661-799-7994. mentalhealthhookup.org. Your source for adult mental health in Santa Clarita and beyond.
A Royal Suite Home Furnishings has been family-owned and operated in Santa Clarita since 1978. They keep America working by stocking heritage-quality furniture made right here in the USA. With high-end design and thousands of fabrics to choose from, A Royal Suite offers a wide selection of furniture at incredibly low prices. Pay 0% interest with your approved credit for 12, 24, 36, or 48 months. See store for details. Visit A Royal Suite, massive showroom on Carl Boyer Drive near Sam's Club in Santa Clarita.
A Royal Suite. Sweet dreams. Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. You know, we just wrapped up a couple of segments with the learners from iLead Agua Dulce presenting on emergency preparedness, and I decided to surprise a couple of folks. They're facilitator. You might know that as a teacher, but at iLead we call them facilitators because of the way they do their job a little bit differently. And then we also brought in Penny. We brought Penny back along with her mom, Liz Kiang. Thank you, ladies, for joining us here. Do you mind if we snuggle up a little bit so that we can share the microphone? So, Liz, tell me a little bit about iLead Agua Dulce. From a parent's perspective, what makes it unique? Why did you choose this school for Penny?
Well, I chose this school actually. I started working there back in January of 2019, so I have actual personal experience of being on campus and knowing what goes on there. I used to work with the administrator, Lisa Latimer, back about 15 years ago. So I reunited with her. I loved the way she was running the school and what she was doing. I mean, you had mentioned the project-based learning, which I love, the hands-on learning. One of the things I really love is at the beginning of the year, they have an ILP, which is an individualized learning plan. So each learner, facilitator, and the parent gets to sit down and they get to come up with a plan. Because every child learns differently. Every child isn't on the same level just because they're in the same grade. You know, every child learns differently. So I love that we get to sit down at the beginning of the year, and then we get the input of not just the facilitator or the parent. We get the learner to actually sit down and go, this is what I want to improve on. And it's not just academics. It's social and emotional learning as well, which that is one of the things that I really love, is the emphasis on that, especially after the last 2 years that we've had. Oh, you know what I mean? It's been hard on our kids. And right before your show started, I don't know who was on right before, but they were giving statistics about mental illness and anxiety and depression and how those numbers have gone up in our youth. And it's so important that schools really emphasize this social and emotional element because it's really, really important. Sometimes I feel it's more important than academics. You know, we can set the academics aside and go, how are you? How are you feeling? What emotions are you feeling? And that's what they do. They have mindful minutes. So after they come in from their snack, they sit down, they watch videos that are, you know, mindful, they do breathing. I mean, I love that. I'm all about that. So.
And you mentioned individualized learning. As an educator myself, I'm constantly aware of the fact that I'm not a factory worker producing widgets that come to me with the same raw material and then should leave exactly identical to each other. I'm working with individuals. Not everyone learns at the same pace. Right. Not everyone learns in the same way. So to set up an educational system where we can address the learner's individual needs is really important. Mrs. Sprudy, I wanted to talk to you. You joined us at iLead Agua Dulce actually very recently. And I understand you actually got into the teaching career very recently during a time when a lot of folks are actually leaving it. Because over the last couple of years, teaching has gotten really, really hard. You joined us in December. What has it been like, your journey so far with your fourth graders and at iLead Agua Dulce?
My journey's been very unique. Any teachers out there listening right now would understand coming in the middle of a school year, taking over a fourth grade class has its challenges. But this is one of a very positive situation for me coming out of my credential program and really understanding education and what iLead's philosophy is, and going with iLead's philosophy, which with the project-based learning. So this is the first project-based learning I have been exposed to, because they don't necessarily teach this process in the credential program. So as a new teacher, this was, as we call it, boot camp.
Yep.
Which is fantastic. So taking this idea and philosophy from iLead and putting it into the hands of our learners, and I really am the guiding question for our learners in our classroom. So when we started our project, we discussed our guiding question, and I really let the learners take it from there. Mm-hmm. They decided, well, wow, we could really do this. And, they just start coming up with their own questions, and then we research, and then they answer their own questions, and then more questions arise. And we really kind of follow that path. And I allow the learners to decide how they want to go down this project, what their vision is with this project, and I am there to support them. So it was very interesting because my whole class came up with these 4 different groups.
Okay.
So this is obviously one of our groups, the radio broadcast. We also have a news broadcast that we are doing video. So I have a group of learners that are conducting their own video. And they're going to be editing and doing all kinds of stuff with their video. I have a group of learners doing community flyers that are informing their community with evacuation routes, meeting sites. And then we have our survival kit group that have placed in order with our Mrs. Latimer, our director. And they just are putting together these fabulous survival kits. And so they did such a fantastic job, the whole group. And so each of the learners were able to choose what group they would like to be a part of. And each group decided, they would all work together, creating what kind of information that they want to get out to their community, how they want to support each other. So it's really, it's been a wonderful experience for me, and I'm just so disappointed that the year is ending so early because I'm like, wait, I want another project.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I'm like, wait, I want to do another project.
Next year will be plenty of time for 4 or 5 other projects. You bring up a really good point in that, and it kind of exemplifies why we call you, Mrs. Sprudy, a facilitator and not a teacher. A teacher is the person that has all the right answers, right? A facilitator is the person that has all the right questions.
Absolutely.
And we pitch those out at our kids. Now, Liz, I wanted to ask you, Agua Dulce is a beautiful, tight-knit, small little community here just a couple miles north. Do you and Penny live in Agua Dulce?
We don't, actually. We live in Palmdale, and the drive out here is beautiful. I don't even jump on the freeway. I just take the back roads. And then once I'm off on Escondido, it's a beautiful drive through that canyon. So, and they're surrounded by nature when they're on campus, and I love that.
Oh, it is a beautiful natural environment there on campus. But you bring up a good point, and that's one of the beautiful things about charter schools is while we do have boundaries, they are much larger than your typical local school. In fact, I lead Agua Dulce, and all of our schools are allowed to accept learners from anywhere inside Los Angeles County or even adjacent counties. So we have learners that come out from Piru and kind of some of the eastern parts of Ventura County. We have learners in Kern County. So basically, if you can hear our voice this morning and you're interested, you can enroll at I Lead Agua Dulce, SCVi, I Lead Lancaster, any one of our other schools by going to ileadschools.org. Well, ladies, again, I want to thank you so much for joining me this morning. Your kids, your learners, Mrs. Sprudy, and Liz, Penny did a great job this morning. All of them did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt, for having us.
And you stick around. We will be back in just a moment. I'm Matt Watson, and you're listening to SCVi and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Experience Frontier Toyota's all-new hot and exciting Toyota lineup. Serving the Santa Clarita Valley for over 30 years. Frontier Toyota, the Camry, Corolla, and Prius Kings. They're tops in Tacoma and Tundra trucks. Frontier Toyota, the new way of car buying. Shop from home at frontiertoyota.com or visit their showroom at Valencia and Creekside. Discover a whole new car buying experience with your friends at Frontier Toyota.
The shows must go on. The Main in Santa Clarita is your destination for free online music, theater, art, and entertainment opportunities. Tune into fun variety nights, join a talent show, learn from filmmaking experts, attend a modern play, and more from the comfort of your home. For more information and to view upcoming events, go to facebook.com/themain-newhall or at themain.org. Enjoy the shows.
Imagine stepping into a giant tent filled with hundreds of butterflies landing on a feeding stick that you're holding, or clanging the bell aboard a huge fire engine. It's all happening at the 11th annual KHTS Home and Garden Show. We're back at Central Park on Saturday and Sunday, April 30th and May 1st. Over 400 local vendors answering your home improvement questions, 100 crafters, a petting zoo, pony rides, and pig races, a dozen food trucks. Admission is free. Details at SCVhomeshow.com.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
KHTS strives to give the Santa Clarita Valley all the information they need, and when our computers aren't working the way they should, we call Resurgence, your true source for IT. Resurgence provides outstanding customer service while also providing the highest technical ability. They strive to do what's best to improve and protect your business. For more information on Resurgence, call 349-4114 or visit resurgenceit.com.
I'm Susan Owen, managing partner at Owen Patterson & Owen. I have 30 plus years in personal injury alone. There are so many attorneys who advertise, but we are different. If you are a client of Owen Patterson & Owen, I will be your attorney. We don't need other people to handle our cases for us. If you've been injured, call Owen Patterson & Owen at 888-OPO-WINS. And we do, 888-OPO-WINS or opolaw.com.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 9 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
The president says his plan is working. Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's pointing to the new jobs report as more evidence, though not as many jobs created in March. Fox's Jared Halpern has more live in Washington.
The economy has gone from being on the mend to being on the move, President Biden says, responding to a March Labor Department report showing 431,000 jobs added last month.
Americans are back to work, and that's good news for millions of families who have a little more breathing room.
It marks the 11th straight month of at least 400,000 jobs added by employers and brought down the unemployment rate slightly to 3.6%. That is the lowest level since the pandemic shuttered businesses 2 years ago. And while wages are also up, those raises are not keeping pace with inflation. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Ukrainian officials say Russia is breaking promises again on letting aid in or civilians out of the besieged city of Mariupol. This after Moscow pledged to allow a humanitarian corridor, but then ramped up attacks.
Just yesterday, when mass evacuations were set to take place in Mariupol, only 600 people made it out by private car. Russian troops stopped the 45 buses of civilians and confiscated 14 tons of humanitarian aid.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Lviv. Meantime, Russia accusing Ukraine of sending helicopter gunships into Russia to blow up an oil depot. Ukraine and the West say Russia staged that attack itself as a false flag operation. Peace talks continue, though, with Ukraine and Russia holding another round today, this time by video link. A defense attorney says FBI agents and an informant led a plot to kidnap Michigan's governor, not a hapless man living in the basement of a vacuum shop. His closing argument for Adam Fox, one of 4 men charged in federal court. Closing arguments continue. America is listening to Fox News.
Americans don't trust big media. The source you can trust is Newsmax. Find it on all major cable systems or download the free Newsmax app on your phone. Millions are watching Newsmax and the Newsmax team with Rob Finnerty, Eric Bowling, Sean Spicer and Lindsay Keith, Greg Kelly, Stinchfield and Rob Schmidt. Plus weekends with Huckabee, Diamond and Silk, Gorka and Wendy Bell. 20 million people have made the switch to Newsmax. Try it. You may never go back.
Economists are warning that sanctions against Russia could trigger devastating inflation, worse than the current 40-year highs. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings right now with a gold IRA through Birch Gold, the only company I trust for gold. Just text the word SHELTER to 989898 to get a free info kit on how to protect your savings with gold. Again, text SHELTER to 989898.
It's not clear yet what the U.S. Senate will do with a bill passed by the House to cap the cost of a life-saving drug.
The Affordable Insulin Now Act would force any group insurance health plan to cap the cost of monthly insulin at $35. Minnesota Rep. Democrat Angie Craig sponsored the bill.
Prescription drug companies who are selling insulin today really are robbing the American people.
Though Republicans like Washington Rep. Kathy McMorris Rogers argue it's a gimmick for Democrats.
This bill does not bring down the cost. It only shifts the cost.
That the House bill would not help other drug costs or the uninsured. It also comes after the Biden administration repealed a 2019 Trump-era regulation to ensure a lower cost of insulin at federally funded health centers.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. The U.S. slapping sanctions on 5 North Korean entities today in response to 2 ballistic missile tests conducted in February and March. Those sanctions authorized under an existing executive order targeting producers and supporters of weapons of mass destruction. Mass confusion after the popular online game Wordle had 2 correct answers.
Puzzle players taking to social media, with one person tweeting about Wordle 284, writing, "My husband and I solved completely different words and both were correct. I thought the whole point of the game was that the answer key was universal." The correct answers were the words stove and Harry, with Harry spelled Harry. The New York Times, which owns Wordle, confirming to Mashable it changed the answer to the puzzle, explaining they are, quote, reviewing the solutions and removing obscure or potentially insensitive words, later citing Harry, which means to harass, as an obscure word. Lauren Faulkner, Fox News.
April off to a lower start on Wall Street. The Dow's down 58 points. Oil prices falling under $100 a barrel. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260 CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
No contract pest control. Did you hear that? Yes, Unipest has no contract, low impact, affordable, and environmentally and family friendly pest control options with orange oil or other family friendly products. Whether it's ants, spiders, gophers, termites, or bed bugs, Unipest Termite and Pest Control has an effective, eco-friendly option for you. Call Unipest today for a free orange oil inspection at 661-BUG-7575 or visit unipest.com.
Imagine stepping into a giant tent filled with hundreds of butterflies landing on a feeding stick that you're holding, or clanging the bell aboard a huge fire engine. It's all happening at the 11th annual KHTS Home and Garden Show. We're back at Central Park on Saturday and Sunday, April 30th and May 1st. Over 400 local vendors answering your home improvement questions, 100 crafters, a petting zoo, pony rides, and pig races, a dozen food trucks. Admission is free. Details at SCVhomeshow.com.
Playing now at the Canyon Theater Guild are 2 literary classics that you won't want to miss. Little Women the Musical will delight you with show-stopping music and ballads fitting this timeless story of family and perseverance. Also, The Lilies of the Field, dedicated to the late Sidney Poitier, who earned his first Oscar portraying the lead role in this delightful and heartwarming story. Both shows run through April 16th, so get your tickets now by calling the box office at 661-799-2702 or online at canyontheater.org.
Imagine stepping into a giant tent filled with hundreds of butterflies landing on a feeding stick that you're holding, or clanging the bell aboard a huge fire engine. It's all happening at the 11th annual KHTS Home and Garden Show. We're back at Central Park on Saturday and Sunday, April 30th and May 1st. Over 400 local vendors answering your home improvement questions, 100 crafters, a petting zoo, pony rides, and pig races, a dozen food trucks. Admission is free. Details at SCVihomeshow.com.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. We're coming to you live from the KHTS studios here at the center of Main Street in beautiful downtown Newhall. And I call it beautiful downtown Newhall because I'm an active guy and there's a lot going on down here. It really has become the central hub for our community. And well, it's Friday morning, and if you're looking for something to do on Friday night or Saturday night or Sunday, downtown Newhall is the place to be. My next guest, Chris Flowers, is an actor, director, writer, and theater producer. He's also the founder of the Big Sandwich Theater Company. And in addition to all this, Chris has found time to take on the role of part-time house manager at the Main, speaking of amazing things to do this weekend here in Newhall. He's joining us today to talk about the upcoming live performances that we can enjoy just down the street down here in Newhall at the Main. So, Chris, welcome to Eye on the Valley. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Matt. No problem.
So glad you could be here. So first, I got to ask, the Big Sandwich Theater Company. Where in the world did you come up with a name like that for a theater company?
The company members blame me for this because I know that the things we do, we like to do full-length comedies that are inspired by all the real big hammy and cheesy actors of the past. Hammy and cheesy, all served up on a plate for you, and our fans are affectionately called Club Sandwich. So they came up with the name. We had a contest, and they named themselves
Club Sandwich. I love that, and I love the Big Sandwich Theater Company. It reminds me a little bit of David Letterman's production company, Worldwide Pants. The word pants is hilarious. I don't know why. So Chris, tell us a little bit about the Main. You are the house manager there. I mentioned it's here in Newhall, but where specifically, and what is the Main's mission? What are you guys all about?
Well, the Main is just down the street here in Old Town Newhall. It is a city-run facility, so it has a lot of sponsored events. It's also a rental space for up-and-coming theater companies like my own that people can rent and put on. We do. This is our first year having a full season. We have about 12 to 14 productions from local Santa Clarita theater companies who sometimes they put on their own material, sometimes they get the rights to something. We just finished up Arsenic and Old Lace from Olive Branch Theatricals, which was great.
Love that one.
So it's there for many things too. It's open. We have the gallery sponsors a new artist every month. So if people want to come down and view the art, it's open. It's also, as we know, we all love our block party for Senses that's here once a month. It's because it's a city facility. If you need to use the restroom, that's where you come. You come into the Main, and that's always open for that. That's also when we usually have our artist reception. So the artist from the month is usually there with cookies and talking about their art that is also for sale on the walls. Some free events, some ticketed events. There's calendars that I like to personally keep stocked in the door at the Main. So if you're walking by, you can just grab one, and I always try to keep it filled so you can see what's coming on all month.
Yeah, so if you're wandering around, maybe grabbing a glass of wine at one of the several wineries or a glass of beer at one of the breweries here in town. Just grab a schedule, and maybe something's playing tonight that you can get into, or you can make your plans for an upcoming week. You mentioned a couple things, that the Main is owned and operated by the city.
Yes.
I love that the city's made an investment in things like that to provide not only high quality, but then provide these productions at low cost.
Yes, and supplemental material, supplemental events too. Like, so we have free events like our free 10 by 10, which is the first Thursday of every month. I'm sorry, the first Thursday of every month. There's also I had done shows at that building before, before the city had taken it over, and there was rental fees. It's very expensive to put on a play or production. Currently, the city does allow you to come in, put on a production, and then just does a ticket split with you.
Okay, so it's not quite as expensive if
Correct.
you're kind of an up-and-coming
That's what
act.
it was designed for, yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic to allow these new artists to, without, taking out a second mortgage on their home
Correct.
or really
Yeah.
mortgaging their future,
Right.
get on stage and produce their act, whether it's a theater company.
Right.
Like, what about a local band? Could a local band maybe put on a small concert?
We do have events for local bands where they can come. We have it's actually the first Friday of every month. We try to alternate. It's called Locals Only.
All right,
So they
cool.
come in and we usually get like 2 to 3 local bands that come in. I think that is a ticketed event. But we try to just keep it at the local community bands like that. And then just back to the theater companies, just 2 or 3 years ago, there was only a couple of theater companies in Santa Clarita, but because of what the Maine has done, this is part of my job as house manager, is I'm the contact for a lot of these theater companies, as well as our supervisor, Jeff Barber. And now there's 14, 15, 20 theater companies pumping up, wanting to contact us and do a show. So just the growth in it has been amazing.
Wow,
just,
that's fantastic.
Just from the city's input.
So you mentioned that your role consists of being that point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if people are thinking, yeah, you know what, I've got a small production company, maybe I'd like to see if I can find some space to put on my show, they would contact you. What else do you do as a house manager?
Right. So as far as contacting, I think we're going to be opening up applications for the next season. So everyone applies usually between May and August, and then based on the amount of the city people in charge will decide which ones we can actually fit in.
Okay.
I do just some of the general house manager stuff there too. Like I'll be there for ticketed events to make sure people are, setting up before or cleaning up after. I'm also doing quite a bit of the marketing right now. For a lot of people may have seen, we're doing marketing campaigns. The city also helps facilitate, advertising these shows too.
Oh,
We want to be, we don't want to do everything for them, but we do want to just help supplement what they're doing, just because we want them to be successful. So what's really been popular lately, we're doing a big photo campaign for every show where we take some props from the show and then we go up to the businesses up and down Main Street and get pictures with the owners. Everybody's been really, receptive to that, and those go up a few weeks before the show. We usually get 10 or 12 pictures with the local businesses. It's a dual kind of advertisement for not only the main and the production that's going on, but also the business owner themselves that wants to, take a picture with a bottle of arsenic or something.
Right, a bottle of arsenic, yeah.
Right.
Referencing Arsenic and Old Lace, the production that just closed. Yeah. We're not passing out bottles of poison here. But yeah, what a great opportunity, because you're right. We each have our own kind of sphere of influence, if you will. We've got our friends on social media, and we can advertise our show, but then the city obviously has a huge voice, and that can really amplify that, along with, if you were to tag Mr. Reyes from Reyes Winery there.
Yes, exactly. And what this and being here today is also something that was set up by the city, so it's great.
Fantastic. Now, I do want to get to the show that the Big Sandwich Company, your production company, is about to debut in the second half. But before that, tell us about some of the other shows that are coming up on the main.
We have an incredible show tonight. If you have nothing to do tonight, it's called the Kaleidoscope of Culture. It's a traveling, basically dance show, Middle Eastern dance show. So traditionally belly dancing. Okay. So it's everything you think that it is. It's they're going to be between 8 and 12 dancers there. They have there's going to be the music from all the Middle Eastern countries, Egypt, Turkey, all the different dance styles. The costumes are very colorful and silky, and it's a chance to clap along and dance along with, from your seat. Right. Do some chair dancing, and just experience what it's like. I met the developer Olga this week, and she not only develops these shows for all through California, but all over the world. So we're really lucky to have her there, and I know there are tickets still available. So it's really kind of one of those don't miss it kind of spectacles. I mean, it truly is like a visual and auditory spectacle. That's really great.
What an amazing date night! Right?
Oh yes,
to catch the Kaleidoscope of Culture at the Main, and then and then go grab a phenomenal meal at any one of the restaurants.
And that is something else that we're really focusing on the marketing, not with the city and with the Main itself. Is we're really trying to get back to that dinner and a movie kind of day, show and a movie. There's so many great restaurants right here. Like this street the growth has been amazing. The people are amazing, but it really get back to that kind of like, let's go out to dinner, let's go out and see a show. That's kind of what we're really trying to just get that feeling back and get that kind of, one-on-one time back with someone back, or a group of friends. I know my own wife will go and she's going to bring like 15 people to something, where they get the neighborhood moms get together and they go out and they
great idea, girls' night out. And
exactly.
Check out the Middle Eastern dancers, and that'd be a lot of fun, and then go sip some wine. So, okay, so I'm starting to plan my own evening. What time is the show, Kaleidoscope of Culture, tonight?
The show's at 8 o'clock tonight. I'm sorry, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Okay. That was an April Fool's. So it's actually 7 o'clock. 24266 Main Street in New Hall. Everyone recognizes the Main by the old-timey kind of billboard that's up top.
Right.
The marquee. It should be on the marquee, and the lights will be on.
Fantastic. So, kind of planning the evening. You may want to grab an earlier dinner, 5:30.
Yes.
Quarter to 6.
A lot of people do just like drinks and appetizers somewhere.
Okay.
Because there are some really good wine bars here too.
Yeah. Apps and a show, and then maybe another glass of wine afterwards.
Yeah.
It'd be an amazing evening. So again, Kaleidoscope of Culture sounds like a lot of fun. So how would our listeners get tickets? Do they need to buy them in advance? Can they buy them there at the door? What?
Another thing that not only the city has been kind of embraced, but because of COVID, is online ticketing. So they partnered with Eventbrite.com, so you can get it on Eventbrite.com, or just go to the website at themain.org, or you can just walk in and pay with your card and get a ticket. Like I said, there is tickets for tonight. I know the last show closed where we had to turn people away because they didn't get their tickets ahead of time. That happens. So it's all about if you really want to see the show, I would suggest highly getting your tickets online. But if you just want to come down and take your chances, there's always a good chance you can get a seat.
So if it's a last minute decision, like I mentioned, date night, if you're not sure if the wife wants to do
cancellation,
that whole thing, you can pick it up last minute. But like you said, I would recommend getting it ahead of time. I'm looking at the brochure that you've got here. It looks like a fantastic show.
Oh yeah, it's great. And like I said, I know there's tickets available tonight. It's going to be great. I highly recommend anybody who's got free time to come see it.
So one more time, Kaleidoscope of Culture, that's tonight, and then are they continuing on with you, or?
No, these are one-off events.
So tonight only?
Tonight only,
oh,
yes.
Wow, okay.
And that's because the city the Main is a rental space, we're splitting time with, city events and the rental events, so they come through and we, help them. If someone wants to perform, we will hopefully get them into a slot, usually on the weekends, anywhere between Thursday and Saturday. This is just one that's coming through, kind of not random, but it was set up a month or two ago, and now it's here.
All right, so folks won't want to hang around and think about it too much. It's kind of limited time only. So what else have you got other shows going on this weekend? If that's just
I know last night's show sold out. It was mesmerism something. It was like hypnotism magic guy. That one does come around every once in a while. People love the magic and the hypnotists. Tomorrow is improv night. Society Improv is coming for Saturday night. That's a ticketed event as well. So the best part is just to go to the website and see what's coming up. We try to keep our calendar updated as best we can, and like I said, we do have the brochures that we pass out at every show, or you can just get walking by. That's what I always like to recommend. I like to have a physical brochure, and I like to put it on the fridge or tack it up on some board, and then I just see, and it has everything that we're doing through the whole year in it.
Oh, great idea. Yeah, definitely. And so that way when you're wondering what to do, well, gosh, let me take a look. You know, that's a great idea. And then one more time, folks can buy tickets. They can get information about Kaleidoscope of Culture, Improv Night, any of the other shows you've got coming up at your website. I love the name of the website. It's atthemain.org. Atthemain.org for tickets for tonight's show,
Correct.
other information.
Yes, and people do sometimes bypass and go, like I said, right to Eventbrite. You can just look up Kaleidoscope of Culture and it will come up. But usually you go to the website, because if you go, you'll see some pictures and you'll see other events that might be coming up as you navigate to get to the digital ticket buying.
Okay. I mentioned, Chris, that I did want to talk about you and your production company, what you guys are doing. But let's go ahead and take a break first. We're talking to actor, director, writer, theater producer, founder of the Big Sandwich Theater Company, part-time house manager at the Main. My goodness, where do you find the time? Chris Flowers. More about Chris and what he's been up to when we get back. I'm Matt Watson. You're listening to SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Dr. Neil Green has been treating Santa Clarita patients and making them smile for over 35 years. As a child, Dr. Green had a fear of the dentist and disliked even simple checkups. Today, he's sensitive to your needs. If you have anxiety about getting a checkup, he understands your apprehension even if you've avoided the dentist for years. Discover the comfort of visiting a dentist with Dr. Neil Green. Dentistry is his profession. People are his focus. NeilGreenDDS.com. That's Neil, Neal Green, DDS.com.
SCVi is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only international baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVi. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
With locations throughout the valley, Providence offers the most advanced technology and therapies for treating cancer in Southern California. Call 1-888-HEALING for your annual checkup or second opinion. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson, and we're talking this morning with Chris Flowers, actor, director, writer, producer. He's also the founder of the Big Sandwich Theater Company and part-time house manager at the Main, right across the street from KHTS here in downtown Newhall. So, Chris, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get your start in theater? Have you always been a performer? Is this something you've been doing since you were little?
Yeah, I went to a primarily very heavy athletic high school, very three-sport out of Illinois, and and I was not the best athlete at the time. So as you're a kid and you're going through that, you try to find your niche. And by the time I was about a junior in high school, I was like, well, I'm not gonna. I tried everything else, and I hit theater, and there was not a lot of theater guys there. So that's kind of where I got my start doing shows in high school. Then I moved on to junior college, then to college. Got my BA in theater, then tried to go get my master's at University of Austin, Texas Austin. Didn't work out great for me there, but it was just an honor and great to get in. It's really hard to get into a master's program in acting nowadays. It's all about auditions and many people trying and not a lot of spots. And as I was in Chicagoland, I was always taking classes. I did some classes with Chicago Shakespeare Rep, at the Second City. You have to do all those things when you're in Chicago, right?
Sure.
Did a lot of, some murder mystery dinner theater, did some summer stock, did a lot of things, and then eventually, as you keep working and training, you have to make the decision. At least back then, it was either going to be you got to go to New York or LA, and I chose LA.
All right. Wow, fantastic. So I love the idea of that you were able to find something that you experimented with, found that it was an area of passion, and were able to run with it. We don't allow our kids to do that much anymore.
I'm kind of going through that with my own kids now. Like we're trying to throw them in. All right, try tennis, try lacrosse, try this, try this, and it's the same. They just have to try. As long as we give them the opportunity to try things, they'll find the thing that they like. We're still working on that with my kids, but I did newspaper, pep club. You did everything that you could, and then eventually I was like, oh, this is my place.
Yeah, and not only do they eventually find their place, find their passion, but then they also find their voice when they start saying, I've done that for a couple of years now and I don't like it, or I really love this, but I'm not great at it. Gonna keep dabbling, but that kind of thing. So such an important part of the foundation of a young person. So tell me about your theater company. When did you found this Big Sandwich?
Well, I had worked as a actor, so I'm a SAG actor, a voice actor.
Okay.
So I had done a lot of work, and it just happened that I was in a spot where I could move up to Santa Clarita.
Okay.
So I was working a lot for WGBH, which is now GBH. So in their audio description department. And I moved up here, and I was like, I did some shows in the Valley too, but I was like, what's around here? Well, the house that we moved into was still on the mailing list for the Canyon Theater Guild, which is down the street, the theater down the street. So I was getting postcards for these shows, like to audition. And I was like, maybe. And something came up, and there was
sending you notes.
Exactly. And the note hit, there was a postcard for 39 Steps, which is a play that was done, I guess we did that down there 6-7 years ago. And that's where I started doing theater up here. And the director there, his name is Randy Aronson. He was real big in the arts community here for a long time. He enjoyed the cast so much that he cast a bunch of us again in a play called Bullshot Crummond the following year. And then after that, he was like, I just really like working with you people. I don't want to have auditions anymore. Let's just do something with you guys. You guys come up with something and I'll direct it and I'll produce it. I'm like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, I don't know, write something. So so I had been a writer. So myself and Wade Bradford, who's a pretty well-established children's book author here in town, also real heavy in the arts community, has written a lot of children's plays, a lot of one-act plays. So we kind of just brainstormed and wrote our first play for that. And that's when Big Sandwich was born. We did that play. It was called Change the Station about 5 years ago. It has since been published, so it's in catalogs for, I think it was done in Florida at some high school once, and I'll get a tiny, baby residual check for it, every year, that it's shown somewhere.
Mailbox money.
Mailbox money, and then we did another one, and the next one was called All Inclusive. We did that went up right before COVID hit. In 2019, I think it was in November of 2019. Same cast, so the Big Sandwich kind of came from the idea of Randy was a big fan of, and I'm a big fan of that kind of acting troupe mentality.
Okay.
So it's very Carol Burnett show, Benny Hill, Monty Python, where they do the same things, the same actors, but they just switch the material around.
Right.
So when we're writing plays for Big Sandwich, we already know the troupe of actors we're writing for usually.
Okay.
So we put in, Carol Burnett will be good in that role, or whatever, Monty Python guy, will be here. So that's kind of how we work. So we've kind of kept to that no audition mentality and just using this. So we picked a core group of good Santa Clarita-based actors. We try to add 1 or 2 new actors every show. We don't want to totally just be those 6-7 actors. But the core 4 or 5 are always in, and people have kind of come to expect us to be on stage, doing those shows.
Sure. I don't have a whole lot of acting experience. It's kind of limited to acting like I like my mother's meatloaf. But, my brother and I play on the show together, and being as close as we are really helps that dynamic.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can imagine that you guys have developed that kind of family feel that allows you guys to go a little bit deeper, stretch each other,
Yes.
poke and prod each other a little bit, and that can be fun.
Yeah, and also that we all have the same mentality about the comedy that we want to do. You know, it's a very specific type of comedy that kind of really lends itself to those old days of those kind of Dean Martin roasts and like the old, you know, Benny Hill show or Carol Burnett show, like I said. So we all kind of know what we're kind of getting into, and we know bigger, you know, big, hammy, and cheesy. Like I said, you know, we want that. We want that to be, you know, kind of silly, and we want people to have fun because we do exclusively do full-length comedic plays. That's our jam.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So where can we catch some of your stuff? When and where?
All right, we do have our third production is coming up. It's called Sugar and Spies. It's coming up in April.
Wait a minute, Sugar and Spice?
Spies.
Sugar and Spies. Okay,
Sugar
kind
and
of a play
Spies.
on the old poem. Okay.
So that is actually opening April 8th. We do have shows, so it's 2 weekends, 9 performances. We do have a show on Easter, so if anyone wants to, after they go to church, come see the show. We would love to just fill out that Easter show, just a good family event if you already have family in town and looking for something to do in the afternoon that day. We also have a Thursday show. One of the cast members said, you know, a lot of the college kids, they go out on Thursday nights. They need something to do. So I said, okay, we'll add a Thursday night show too. So, but it's only 2 weekends. It's 2 performances. It's very funny. The cast is just doing really well. It's got a lot of spy gadgets. It's a lot of nods to all the funny spy stuff. Oh gosh, Mission Impossible, you know, Austin Powers, you know, Get Smart, you know, any of that. We just throw as much of it as we could into 2 hours. And I like to keep a good story too. Like Wade is, like I said, he's a children's book author, so he gets the big crazy ideas that come only from children's books, and we put them in a play. And then I come from a more traditional theater background, and I kind of, when we write, I kind of mold that clay into, you know, a more kind of 2-act traditional comedy.
Okay. So Sugar and Spies, you invited families to come out after maybe Easter Sunday service. It's a family friendly show?
Easily preteen, easily. It's funny. I'm bringing my 10-year-old and 9-year-old. There's no, it's a lot of, you know, burp humor, you know, that kind of thing,
cool.
for other words. But and like I said, there's all kinds of these spy gadgets and moments, and it's really, you know, kind of just the audience always gets so pulled in, and we do break the fourth wall quite a bit, where we'll be like, hey, did you like that, you know, kind of thing. So it's just one of those things that people have come to expect from the Big Sandwich, and they want to see a Big Sandwich show, so we got to give it to them.
Sounds like the perfect kind of thing for live theater. Now, Chris, producer Sarah has dropped a note to me here, something about blank page to full production. Can you explain to our listeners what blank page to full production means?
Yes. So our ultimate goal, so when we started looking for material for us to do, before we had decided to write, we found that there was not a ton of comedies that were what we wanted to kind of do. You know, it's kind of like if you're not doing Noises Off or Neil Simon, like what kind of comedies are you doing? So, and we were fortunate to find, like I said, 39 Steps and Bullshot Crummond from Low Moan Spectacular. Those shows were kind of more what we wanted to do. So what blank page to full production is, our end goal is to get these published.
Okay.
Like we did with our first play. So blank page is we get down and we brainstorm, what is this play going to be about? We'll outline one and try and figure out what's the best idea for a show. Our next show, we actually wrote 2 plays during COVID, so the next one, as soon as a spot opens up, the next Big Sandwich play is ready to roll, and that's about some monks in the Himalayan mountains. So, you know, the first play was about a radio station, you know, in the 40s. Second play was about a horrible vacation island that was really terrible. You know, this one is about in Switzerland, about spies trying to get a couple together or break them apart. So the blank page is us writing it, and then we because we are trying to get published, there's kind of this myth in the industry that if it's been produced, you have a better shot of getting published. So that's why we will produce the play. It also helps us tweak everything. There's a lot of edits that go on during the rehearsal process. We're deep into rehearsal right now, and we just did a rewrite on a scene last night, and we open next week. So so that goes on to the production, and then when the production's done, we put the edits in again, and then we submit it for publication. The second play's out, but it kind of got lost during COVID out there.
Yeah.
And then this one will be sent out for publication as well. So that's kind of the whole process of a play.
Okay.
Is from when you write the first word on a blank page to where you hopefully get it published, and all the stuff in between. That's our process.
Very cool. So you mentioned some of the stuff that you were doing during kind of the height of the pandemic. I can imagine that was a good time for live stage actors to be doing their writing.
Correct.
Is that what you guys were limited to during the pandemic, or were you able to perform at all?
Well, I had mentioned before that there are other, theater companies that are growing here in Santa Clarita.
Yeah.
And there was a big push. A lot of them were starting to do kind of these online events where they would do online plays or online monologues, or there was a monologue competition done by Eclipse Theater LA. And so there was all this stuff. We sat down as a company and just decided that was not for us. So we were not going to do any kind of online material. We would just post to our, on our Facebook page and be like, after much discussion, this is stuff that you really have to see. Our stuff in particular is stuff you just have to see live. So we're just going to wait out until after the pandemic. And then we still would make posts every once in a while, and we would promote the theater companies that were doing online things, and hopefully, people saw some of that stuff, because it's a lot of work, whether you're doing it live or whether you're doing it, just digitally. But for our purposes, it's just not the same. So we actually, that's why we were able to write 2 plays over COVID instead of 1, because we just focused on that. We're really happy to be back doing that, because this play actually was scheduled to go up in September of 2020, I think. So, and that was right, we just got canceled. So this has actually come back. And then the next one, hopefully next year, will be the next big sandwich play. The goal is to hit 5. We want to do 5 and then reevaluate and see where we are.
Okay. I can totally respect what you're saying. It sounds like the shows that you put on are not only, I don't want to say dependent on, but really what makes your shows special seems to be that relationship with the audience.
Yes.
That, it's different. Technology really has changed the world. I'm an educator, but now Zoom has allowed me to do almost all of my work from my office at home.
Right.
But it's still not like connecting with people
Correct.
in person. I just came from a conference this week, and it was great to get back and interact and learn with people. Roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty. I can imagine your shows are the same way with that relationship with the audience.
And it deals with teachers as well. It's like, we all had kids who were trying to learn online, and you just could see that it was not the same.
Absolutely.
They were not doing the work that they needed to do. It's the same with entertainment specifically. You have to, the play is better, or the performance is better, whether you're a musician or, a dancer or whatever, if you're getting something back from the person you're sitting across from, whether it's a school desk or a stage. So I feel like that's what this kind of medium needs, and that's just why we had decided, we're just going to wait. And hats off to everybody who did stuff during COVID.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work, I know, but we were just going to hopefully wait and get the butts back in the seats.
Yeah, definitely. And they're back. You're back.
Oh, yeah.
With Sugar and Spies. You said that's opening next weekend?
April 8th, yes. We're doing the standard Friday night, 2 shows on Saturday and Sunday for 2 weekends. And then there's that extra Thursday show. I know tickets have been selling. There's still plenty left because it's still early. Usually we'll do a big push. There's our promos are coming out. We're sending out little videos and things, and the members of Club Sandwich are asking us what's going on. But you can buy tickets now at themain.org or Eventbrite for Sugar and Spies. It's going to be really funny. It's another one you just don't want to miss. And unfortunately, most of the shows at the Main will be getting 3 weekends this year. We are in a month that there's 5 weeks, so we actually only get 2 weekends. And then there's another show that's the Amish Project by Hope Theater Arts will be in April as well after us. So we're only got 2 weekends. So that's good and bad. I feel like I don't want to turn people away. I'm telling people, like, they always wait for the last minute, always. I'm telling you now, get your tickets now and see the show.
Don't wait on this one. And you said it's great for the whole family. Again, these types of shows are always fun for a group of buddies, the guys to go out, ladies' night, or a date night. Sugar and Spies at the Main sounds like a lot of fun. And you're running for, you said, the 2 weekends, but we've got that limited time tonight only performance, Kaleidoscope of Culture again at the Main. Just really quick, can you reset for our listeners?
Sure.
If they're racking their brain trying to figure out what they want to do tonight.
Yes, tonight I would definitely come down to the Main, Kaleidoscope of Culture. It is a visual spectacle of Middle Eastern dance. Everyone knows it as belly dancing, but it's really a lot more than that. It's a chance to see some culture. Like I said, they've put together a great program, visually stunning. Traditional music, traditional kind of dancing and belly dancing. 8 to 10 dancers. The very silky costumes, and it's really going to be neat. And like I said, this is a one-off, so they will be here once. I don't know when she's coming back with this.
Chris, I love that our city and your company, the Main, provide this type of exposure to amazing culture, beautiful shows, comedy, all these great things. I really appreciate everything that you and the city do for our community. Thanks so much for coming down to the station today.
Sure.
One more time, tell us about the Main, the Big Sandwich Company. How do I get tickets for all these different things?
The first and best defense or offense is go to atthemain.org. You can view the calendar. You can buy tickets. Everything is digital nowadays. That is the only good thing that has come out of COVID. So, you can, because nobody's handling real money anymore. You can bring cash and buy cash tickets, but I really recommend trying to get them online because you just have to walk in. You just tell your name, we check you off, and you go find your seat. So atthemain.org or Eventbrite, I recommend going to At the Main. If you have questions, you can call the Main too. I don't have that number right on me, but the best way is just to come down. If nothing else, just come on down and find some parking. I do, so one of the things I will mention is parking downtown is difficult.
Yep.
So we always recommend, we do have a small parking lot behind the theater, but there's also the large parking lot across the street for the metro station. A lot of people have been parking there lately because Old Town Newhall is just so hopping. And there's so much going on the weekends.
Yeah, definitely. What I always do is I go for an earlier dinner.
Yes.
And then I just park at the restaurant and leave my car there and then head into the show.
So definitely plan time for that. People, there are larger structures. They're just a little farther down the street, so you may.
Sure.
But it's a nice walk. It's beautiful. The street is beautiful. So it's
really
not very far, but there are parking lots. They're just not right in front of the theater or the radio station here. You know what I mean?
And it gives you, like you said, an opportunity to you want to poke in and grab some wine, a beer, maybe a churro down at the corner. Yeah. So
there's
definitely
the new ice cream shop. There's all these new things. The new Irish pub just opened. Yeah. There's all kinds of things that are popping up here.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned folks might want to call the Main. That is 290-2255. Very easy to remember. 661-290-2255. Chris, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
This is SCVi and I Lead Schools Eye on the Valley. I'm Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS.
Imagine stepping into a giant tent filled with hundreds of butterflies landing on a feeding stick that you're holding, or clanging the bell aboard a huge fire engine. It's all happening at the 11th annual KHTS Home and Garden Show. We're back at Central Park on Saturday and Sunday, April 30th and May 1st. Over 400 local vendors answering your home improvement questions. A dozen food trucks. Admission is free. Details at scvhomeshow.com.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
Main Street has been transformed with the brand new 3-story Reyes Winery on Main building. With wine tasting from Reyes Winery on Main's ultra premium wines, you'll relax high up on Santa Clarita's only patio rooftop wine bar and dining in Old Town Newhall. Experience the wine bar with a group of your friends or make it a romantic rendezvous. The new Reyes patio roof wine bar and dining, unlike anything else in our valley. Details at ReyesWineryOnMain.com.
It's time to enhance your natural beauty at Hestia Medical Spa. Select from a large menu of services, including an assortment of fillers that can be used in the face, lips, hands, and a variety of other body parts. Get rid of that double chin with Kybella, an injectable treatment to permanently destroy fat cells under the chin. Hestia Medical Spa also offers Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin to help reduce severe frown lines. Experience rejuvenation at Hestia Medical Spa, located on Valencia Boulevard next to City Hall. Call 753-3434 or go online to hestiamedicalspa.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley. I am your host, Matt Watson. We have had an amazing show so far. What a fun show. We started out the show with learners from iLead Agua Dulce. And, well, first of all, I'd like to welcome Producer Sarah to the show. Producer Sarah, good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
You've been in the studio all morning with me, but you finally decided to step up to the microphone, and you're going to play with us this morning. I appreciate it. It's been a fun show. The learners from iLead Agua Dulce did an amazing job.
They did wonderful. They did. She's going to take your job.
Seriously. They've spent the last couple of weeks getting ready, so I knew that they were ready. I had no idea that they were going to be that good. And they had a lot of information about being prepared for emergencies. And I love that they didn't just prepare a school report. They prepared real stuff that's going out in the community. They have four groups. One group is putting on a vlog, a video broadcast. Of course, we had the young ladies in this morning that did the radio broadcast to make sure our listeners are prepared. And then the two other groups are one group is putting flyers in the local stores there in Agua Dulce about how to be prepared. And then that fourth group actually put together emergency kits that the school is selling. So I'm going to...
And I think there was one that did a news broadcast. They did a video. Oh, we
Right.
got the vlog one you were talking about.
Right, like a news broadcast.
I'm going to find out about those emergency kits. I posted the link to Agua Dulce's main website. So... if our listeners are interested, I'm sure they can send an email or call, but I'm going to try to find out about those.
Yeah, definitely.
Those
And then we
emergency
had
kits.
Chris Flowers from the Maine talking about all the exciting shows coming up this weekend, next weekend, and as we head into the spring, the amazing shows that are available here at the Maine. At the Maine, again, their website, atthemaine.org. So now, I don't want to delay too much longer. It is time for Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. Except that Big T is serving a 2-week suspension this week.
Oh.
Yeah, he got himself in a little bit of trouble last week. He was actually responsible for ripping this show off the air last week. We won't go into too many details, and so the Academy of Silliness and Broadcasting issued a 2-week suspension on Big T, and he's actually off. Big T, he's doing some big business. But once again, he called in the big right-hander, the closer. So I want to welcome back to the show Scott Watson. If you don't know Scott, well, you better get on board because you're going to know him here real soon. Scott is a 2018 graduate of Saugus High School, where he served 2 years as an ASB executive officer and 1 year on the William S. Hart District Board of Directors as the student representative. He's a graduate of UC San Diego, class of 2021. That's right. For those of you who are doing the math, he graduated in 3 years and did it magna cum laude. He's currently enjoying the fruits of his labor, surfing his days away in La Jolla before he has to move to Washington, D.C. here in just a couple months, where he'll be working full-time as a legislative assistant for Congressman Mike Garcia. And Scott Watson has already announced his own candidacy for the White House in 2062. Here he is. He's Mom's favorite. Sorry, Hannah. He's Scott Watson. Scott, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Uncle Matt. Happy to fill in for what's his name anytime.
Good old what's his name. Yeah, absolutely. So, Scott, for our listeners out there that may be new to the show, you've got some trivia questions for us. Producer Sarah, engineer Patty are going to play along with me. You can play along at home as well. And in fact, if you are playing along in your car or at home, you've got a significant advantage, because what Patty and Sarah and I are going to do is we're going to buzz in. Scott's going to throw a question out at us, and we're going to hit our buzzers. Looks like Taylor wants to play too. You want to come in here, Taylor? No. Okay, so we're going to hit our buzzers, which is just calling out our name. But you playing along at home or out there in the lobby, you don't have to call your name out. You just shout out the answer. Taylor, make sure you shout them out loud enough for me to hear. And see if you can beat us. All right. Okay, Scott, let's do this, brother man.
All right. Well, like last time, I'm going to be starting off with a dead guy birthday of the day as a tribute to the Peterson Money Show.
All right.
And today's dead guy birthday of the day is Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, the famed German statesman and the first chancellor of what is best known as modern Germany, who maintained that precarious balance of power in late 19th century Europe. He was the first politician to liken laws to sausages, in that you do not want to know how either one is made. But my personal favorite quote of his is that when he said, "People never lie so much as during a war, before an election, or after a hunt." And so with that, we'll get right into trivia.
Fantastic.
First question of the day. Which year is closer to the present day, 1981 or 2060?
Sarah.
Go, Sarah.
Matt?
I think it was Sarah.
Sorry.
1981, sadly.
That is incorrect.
Patty.
It is actually 2060. 2060 is only 38 years away from 2022, as opposed to 41 years away, which is 1981.
I was mixing up the question. I was sad because 1981, which I remember fondly, I knew was further away. But,
Let's just sit on that for a second. We are closer to 2060 than we are 1981 right now today.
What were you doing in 1981, Mr. Watson?
1981, I was actually a whippersnapper. I think I was probably in 3rd or 4th grade out at Santa Clarita Elementary School.
Oh.
I was not even a twinkle in my dad.
Patty, she didn't ask you.
No.
All right, Scott. So checking the scoreboard, it's 0-0-0. Here we go.
Correct. Next question. Since 1960, 5 movie musicals have won the Academy Award for Best Picture. For a point, name 2 of them.
Sarah.
Sarah?
So we've got Sound of Music. We've got, is The Artist considered a musical?
It is not.
Okay, well, let me think. Singing in the Rain?
That is incorrect. That came out before 1960.
Did it?
Anybody else?
Frogger. I'll go with Sound of Music and La La Land.
That is incorrect. La La Land did not win Best Picture in 2016.
Oh, that's right. I got confused with
Patty?
the announcement.
I'll say Sound of Music and Grease?
That is incorrect.
Okay.
5 movie musicals that have won an Academy Award for Best Picture have been West Side Story, My Fair Lady, Sound of Music, Oliver, and the most recent one, Chicago, in 2002.
I only know one of those.
I've seen them all.
Yeah, so have I. You got to check them out, Patty. There's some pretty good shows. You know, West Side Story was just recently released.
I know West Side.
Re-released.
I know West Side Story. I've never seen West Side Story.
It's a great show.
Yep. Next question. Which American city has the nickname the Music City?
Frogger.
That would be.
Go ahead.
Oh, that'd be Nashville, Tennessee.
That is correct.
Good job. Patty's on the board.
Next question. What was the first U.S. state to be admitted to the Union
Frogger.
that was not one of the original 13 colonies? Frogger.
Oh, you finished the question and threw me off. I'm going to go with Ohio.
That is incorrect.
Sarah?
Sarah?
Is it Maine?
That is incorrect. Patty, you want to give it a shot?
Sure, Virginia.
It starts with a V. It was actually Vermont.
Okay.
Vermont was the
I was
14th
close.
state admitted to the Union. Next question. In the Pixar film A Bug's Life, which species of insect oppressed the ants?
Patty.
Patty.
That's a grasshoppers.
That is correct.
Yes.
Next question. True or false? According to the TV
Frogger.
show The Jetsons, Frogger.
True.
That is correct.
Yes.
You stop the question.
I thought we were
According to the
past
TV show,
this.
The Jetsons, George
Sorry.
Jetson will be born later this year in August of 2022.
So George Jetson's birthday is coming up later this year. I love it.
Awesome.
That is correct.
All right.
Which popular sport and activity was humorously referred to as sidewalk surfing in the 1960s?
Frogger.
Frogger.
Skateboarding.
That is correct.
Yeah, Jen and Dean.
Next question. Which nation is larger by area? Cuba or Cambodia?
Sarah?
Frogger.
Sarah.
Cambodia.
That is correct.
50-50 shot.
Next question. What was the only presidential election year between 1952 and 1972 in which Richard Milhous Nixon was not on the ballot?
Oh, Frogger.
Frogger.
58.
Sarah?
That is incorrect. Sarah?
56.
That is incorrect. He was vice president on the ballot in 1952 and 1956, ran for president in 1960, did not run in 1964, and then ran for president in 68 and 72. So 1964 is the only election year in a 20-year stretch in which he was not on the ballot.
What can I say? He was a great man. Unfortunately, Scott, we do have to wrap up. We'll go ahead and check the scores. Patty and I tied for the lead with 2. Sarah came in at second with 1. Scott, thanks for bailing out your dad again. We do appreciate it. I'd also like to thank the extraordinary group of 4th graders from Mrs. Julia Sprudy's class, Miley, Penny, Piper, Peyton, and Renada, founder of the Big Sandwich Theater Company and part-time house manager at the Maine Chris Flowers, producer Sarah, Engineer Patty, Engineer Carlos, and thank you for listening. Join us again next week and every Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVi and iLead School's Eye on the Valley on your hometown station, KHTS.
Accidents happen.